Hey everyone, I'm Dean, and it's time to crank up the nostalgia, polish those controllers, and dive headfirst into the glorious chaos of Konami's greatest game series ever made. If you grew up getting wrecked by Medusa heads in Castlevania, got emotionally destroyed by Metal Gear Solid plot twists, or just spent way too many sleepovers blowing up friends in Bomberman, this list is for you. We're talking legendary franchises that shaped our childhoods, defined genres, and made us question why everything Konami touched in the 90s and early 2000s was straight. This is a hype-fueled ride through gaming history with enough jokes, chaos, and pixelated love to make Dracula blush. So smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop your favorite Konami game in the comments, because this list is about to get wild. Let's go! Contra. Contra is where shirtless heroes, alien guts, and weaponized chaos all go on a date, with bullets flying as the third wheel. The story? Oh, it's a subtle tale of two guys named Bill Reiser and Lance Bean, who basically said nah to shirts and yes to saving the Earth from alien scumbags. The evil Red Falcon organization, basically E.T.'s jacked up cousins, wants to ruin humanity's day, but Bill and Lance have a PhD in explosions and zero patience for extraterrestrial nonsense. Gameplay-wise, Contra is like if you gave your sugar-high cousin unlimited fireworks and dropped them into a war zone. It's side-scrolling, run-and-gun mayhem with non-stop dodging, jumping, and turning everything on screen into a pixelated fireball. But the real gem? The weapons. Spread gun, laser, flamethrower, and the oops, I accidentally erased the screen bomb. And let's not forget the infamous Konami code, up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start. A cheat that blessed millions with 30 glorious lives and still gets whispered in gamer therapy sessions. Over the years, Contra mutated across platforms, adding new settings, bosses bigger than your mom's minivan, and even crazier power-ups. The heroes kept switching, but the vibe stayed the same. Unrelenting chaos, sweet pixel carnage, and enemies that just won't quit. Whether you played it solo or with your equally chaotic buddy, Contra was a test of reflexes, friendships, and whether your controller could survive the rage.
My head! Oh, it hurts!
What's wrong?
Don't come here, Snake!
Metal Gear Solid. Ah yes, Metal Gear Solid, the only game series where sneaking around in a cardboard box somehow makes perfect military sense. This franchise is an espresso shot of cinematic storytelling, 4D chess-level mind games, and enough government conspiracies to make the X-Files look like a kid's cartoon. For the story, you've got Solid Snake, a gruff-voiced clone soldier who can MacGyver his way out of any situation with duct tape, cigarettes, and a bandana that apparently grants invincibility. His enemies? A revolving door of war criminals, walking tanks called Metal Gears, psychic freaks, ninjas with unresolved trauma, and at least 12 people pretending to be someone else. Let's talk about Revolver Ocelot, a cowboy gunslinger double, triple, quadruple agent who twirls his revolvers like he's auditioning for a spaghetti western in space. Then there's Otacon, your nerdy bestie who cries over anime robots. Oh, and don't forget Big Boss, Liquid Snake, and a man who survives by living with wolves. Seriously, Kojima writes like he's playing Mad Libs with a Cold War documentary. The overarching theme? War is bad, nukes are worse, and absolutely no one is who they say they are. You sneak through military bases, crawl through vents like an overqualified raccoon, and occasionally punch a mecha to death. But it's not all stealth. There's gunplay, CQC, close quarters chucking, and codec conversations that go on longer than your average podcast. Silent Hill. If Resident Evil is a loud zombie rave, Silent Hill is a slow-burning psychological fever dream dipped in emotional trauma and wrapped in fog that smells suspiciously like regret. This series isn't just horror. It's horror with depth, horror with a degree in psychology, and horror that will have you questioning whether that weird shape in your hallway is a coat rack or your past sins manifesting. Well, every Silent Hill game throws a poor, confused soul into the titular town, where the fog never lifts, the radios scream static like banshees with bad reception, and every building looks like it was decorated by a sadistic interior designer with a rust fetish. The town itself morphs based on your guilt, shame, or general mental baggage. Lost your wife? Here's a flesh monster that breathes like a pug in a sauna. Looking for your missing kid? Enjoy the wall babies and demon nurses. Here we've got James Sunderland, who's got issues, Heather Mason, a queen with attitude and unresolved trauma, and of course, Pyramid Head, everyone's favorite giant knife-wielding nightmare who is both terrifying and somehow became a cosplay icon. Bless him. The combat is clunky on purpose, because you're not a superhero. You're an average person who swings a pipe like they're shooing a raccoon off their porch. The flashlight and radio combo is your lifeline, your warning system, and your doom bell, all in one. Castlevania. Sink your teeth into Castlevania, the only franchise where family drama, vampire hunting, and enough gothic architecture to make Dracula himself go, okay, that's a bit much, all smashed together into pixel-perfect chaos. If Silent Hill is psychological horror, Castlevania is classical monster mashing with a leather whip, holy water, and a soundtrack that slaps harder than Dracula's backhand. The plot is basically an eternal family feud, but instead of awkward Thanksgiving dinners, the Belmont family shows up every 100 years to absolutely wreck Count Dracula's real estate plans. Every time Drac wakes up thinking, it's good to be back, a Belmont kicks his castle doors open like, not today, Nosferatu. From Simon and Trevor to Richter and Julius, this bloodline does not mess around. Castlevania is part side-scrolling platformer, part monster mash with medieval flair. You whip everything that moves, skeletons, Medusa heads, werewolves, even floating books that somehow hate you. Then Symphony of the Night came along and said, what if we add RPG elements and make Dracula's son, Alucard, a brooding anime dreamboat? And the fans said, yes, immediately, do that. The real secret sauce? The music. Bloody Tears isn't just a bop, it's a war anthem for every gamer who's rage quit after falling into a bottomless pit again because of flying bats. And don't forget the supporting cast. Grant the wall-crawling thief, Sypha the spell-slinging sorceress, and Maria who fights monsters with doves. Because in Castlevania, logic checked out centuries ago and we're all better for it.
Yugo the wolf, Long the tiger. Get ready.
Bloody Roar. Bloody Roar is the fighting game equivalent of a WWE match that got interrupted by Animorphs. It's wild, it's wacky, and it lets you uppercut people so hard they turn into animals mid-air. Developed by Hudson and published under the Konami umbrella, this beastly brawler puts a furry spin on the old punch kick formula by letting fighters transform into zoanthropes, aka humans who go beast mode in the most literal sense. Look, it's fighting game lore. It's got 12 plot twists, 3 secret evil organizations, a cursed bloodline, and at least one guy who screams, "I'll show you my true form," every 10 minutes. The basic premise revolves around shadowy experiments, genetic tinkering, and a world where the phrase fur flying is both literal and tragic. Gameplay here is fast, flashy, furry. It's classic 3D fighter mechanics with combos, counters, throws, but then bam, your opponent suddenly turns into a were-lion and pile drives you into the concrete. Every character has a beast form with unique moves, speed boosts, and the uncanny ability to make you yell, "What even is that thing?" Mid-fight, coming to the characters now, there's Yugo the Wolf, your edgy protagonist with tragic dad vibes, Alice the Bunny, deadly, adorable, and just slightly terrifying, Long the Tiger, Bakuryu the Mole, and Shenlong the Dragon all bring the claws-out chaos. Also, there's a chameleon man who literally turns invisible. Yep, that kind of party. So yeah, Bloody Roar is what happens when martial arts, mythology, and monster energy drinks all go out for a wild night. Who's up next? I'm still hyped. Bomberman. Bomberman is what happens when you mix adorable marshmallow-like space dudes with the explosive habits of a cartoon terrorist who's been to too many fireworks festivals. At first glance, it's all cutesy and innocent, until the screen turns into a strategic bomb-dropping death trap where friendships go to violently die. The story technically has lore, but nobody's playing Bomberman for the epic plot. That said, in various iterations, he's a robot who escapes from a factory, saves the universe, stops evil scientists, and occasionally just really needs to blow stuff up. The villain roster, everything from evil Bombermen to space crime syndicates to intergalactic megalomaniacs with bad mustaches. So yeah, Mario, but with explosives and no regard for OSHA regulations. Aside from the OG white Bomberman, you've got a whole rainbow crew, black, blue, pink, yellow, each with wild personalities and ridiculous spin-offs. There's even Bomberman Jetters, where things get weirdly emotional for a game about exploding everything. Coming to the gameplay now, pure chaos in a box-shaped arena. You navigate grid-like maps, drop bombs, and pray you don't accidentally trap yourself like an overconfident demolition intern. Power-ups let you kick bombs, throw bombs, explode more bombs, or become an invincible flame god for like 3 seconds. The catch? You can and will get destroyed by your own hubris and bombs. It's like chess if chess exploded. Goemon. What happens when you throw ancient Japan, sentient dumplings, kabuki robots, and bathroom jokes into a blender, then slam that chaos smoothie onto a Super Nintendo cartridge? This glorious fever dream of a series follows the adventures of Goemon, a blue-haired noble thief with a smoking pipe that hits harder than unpaid taxes, and his ragtag squad of lovable weirdos. One minute, you're trying to stop aliens from turning Japan into a giant stage play. The next, you're battling a giant peach floating over Mount Fuji, while your robot mecha yells "Justice" in all caps. There's usually some emperor or warlord being hypnotized, or a villain who moonlights as an opera singer. It's like feudal Japan, the musical, but with more explosions and fart jokes. The gang's all bonkers in the series. There's Ebisumaru, the pervy, loud kabuki sidekick who cosplays like a sushi roll. Sasuke, the ninja robot with throwing stars and serious short king energy. And Yae, the cool sword-wielding lady who honestly deserves her own spin-off. Everyone's weird, wonderful, and somehow always down to punch a dancing pig monster in the face. Now, the gameplay is a glorious mix of side-scrolling platforming, beat-em-up mayhem, puzzle solving, and the occasional RPG light town exploration. One minute you're dropkicking tanukis in a castle, next you're piloting Impact, a 300-foot robot with a samurai mullet and his own theme song. That's right, a theme song for a robot. You can't not love that. Suikoden. Suikoden is an emotional pressure cooker wrapped in political drama, seasoned with betrayal, and served with 108 playable characters like some kind of turn-based Thanksgiving dinner. Inspired by the Chinese classic Water Margin, this series tosses you into full-blown revolutions, civil wars, cursed runes, and at least 5 betrayals before breakfast. Every game throws you into the velvet boots of some poor soul who accidentally starts a war by existing. Whether it's a general's son, Suikoden 1, a prince framed for regicide, Suikoden 5, or a kid with magic tattoos that turn people into glitter, looking at you, True Runes. Each entry goes hard on loyalty, destiny, and sobbing uncontrollably when your favorite party member dies in a cutscene. You're recruiting everyone from badass generals to chefs who challenge you to Iron Chef minigames. Then you build a fortress so full of personalities it makes the Avengers look like an underfunded scout troop. Combat mixes classic turn-based with epic 6-person party battles, one-on-one duels, and massive army skirmishes that feel like medieval spreadsheets with swords. Before we finish with this one, let's quickly take a look at the characters. Too many to list without starting a wiki, but let's shout out Victor the bear-sized bro with a laugh that can shatter glass, Flick the sword-swinging drama queen, and Luke, the moody mage who sighs more than he attacks. And don't even get me started on McDowell, who says maybe 5 words across the entire game and still makes people cry. Yu-Gi-Oh! The only game series where losing a card duel could mean losing your soul, your freedom, or your entire hairstyle. Published by Konami, this franchise has turned cardboard duels into world-ending events since 1999, proving that nothing says epic showdown like summoning a blue-eyes white dragon while shouting dramatically at your best friend who's also secretly possessed by a 5,000-year-old pharaoh. Seto Kaiba, a billionaire with a trenchcoat budget the size of a small country and unresolved issues with dragon cards. Joey Wheeler, Brooklyn's loudest duelist with the luck of a potato. And of course, the villain gallery includes Marique, Bakura, and any adult who thought playing card games with children was a legitimate career move. Story? Oh, it's a delightful spaghetti bowl of shadow dimensions, ancient curses, Egyptian bling, and enough exposition to make your TV sweat. You follow Yugi Muto, a sweet puzzle-loving cinnamon roll who accidentally unlocks a dark alter ego named Yami Yugi, basically the Batman of card games. Together, they wreck evil billionaires, corrupt game designers, and creepy ghouls through the subtle art of card slapping. Gameplay is turn-based card combat, but with heart-pounding animations, dramatic slow-mo, and dual mechanics that bend more rules than a corrupt gym teacher. You summon monsters, activate traps, fuse beasts, and occasionally yell things like "draw," like it's a life or death courtroom trial. Later entries added more modes, more mechanics, XYZs, pendulums, link summons, send help, and full RPG campaigns where you duel your way through entire plots. Rocket Knight Adventures. Get ready for liftoff with Rocket Knight Adventures, pure blast from the 90s. The evil empire, led by the dastardly Emperor Devligoose, is trying to take over the world. But fear not, Sparkster. The most dashing opossum in the land is here to save the day with his trusty rocket pack. This heroic possum's got skills for days. He can jump, slash, and rocket boost his way through levels like a boss. The rocket pack is the ultimate game changer, letting Sparkster soar through the skies, dodging baddies and obstacles with ease. But don't get too comfy. Sparkster's got some tough cookies to crumble. Giant mechanical beasts, sword-wielding foes, and boss battles that'll put your skills to the test. Fun fact, Sparkster, the hero of Rocket Knight Adventures, was originally designed to be a character in the Konami game Sparkster Rocket Knight, released in 1992 for the NES and SNES, but the game was later reworked and released as Rocket Knight Adventures for the Sega Genesis. And that's a wrap on the Konami Hall of Absolute Legends. From vampire-whipping Belmonts to dimension-hopping duelists and bomb-dropping marshmallow men to beast-transforming brawlers, Konami gave us a buffet of gaming goodness we're still digesting decades later. Got a favorite that didn't make the cut? Wanna fight me over Bloody Roar being underrated? Drop it in the comments. Hit that like button, slam that sub, and ring the bell like it owes you lunch money. We've got more wild retrospectives, epic lists, and gaming chaos coming your way, so don't miss a thing. Till next time, stay nostalgic, stay chaotic, and stay Konami core. Peace out, legends.
Stay with me. Don't leave me alone again. You're supposed to take care of me.